Hi, this is Justin from AC Hamilton in sunny Preston, and I'm here with the Nord Stage 4, which is damn awesome. And I'm going to take you through easy to understand, hopefully, walkthrough of the Nord Stage 4. So let's take a look. So let's just look at the basics. So somebody's never seen this before, they might see a load of buttons, looks complicated. It's actually a lot simpler than that. So basically, if you just take it in sections, this is your organ section, and there's an on button to turn it on, and there's two layers to the organ section, and there's your two volumes and your individual on and off for A and B parts of your organ section. Exactly the same thing with piano. There's your general on-off button, but then your two piano parts and your volumes for each part. And here your synth section, your on button, and we've got three parts for your synth and your individual on-off buttons for each part, your individual volumes for each part. And then over here on the end is all the effects section. So it's actually, when you divide it into the sections, it's quite simple. And what's powerful about the Stage 4 is simply the fact that you've got 2, 4, 7 sections, all of which can be mixed together. You can see all the volumes of each of the 7 parts, and massively powerful is the fact that the effects can be applied independently for each of the 7 parts. So that's the big powerful thing about Nord Stage 4. Of course, just don't let that confuse you with just how good the simple sounds are. Before I did this video, I watched some other videos, and there's some amazingly in-depth and long videos, which is great for those people who kind of, have got quite a lot of knowledge already about how these things work. But what about somebody who's never had this kind of product before, or what about somebody who's had a Nord before but kind of just used it, in a basic way? So I would come to it from that point of view. So there's all these intense, in-depth videos out there, but which bit applies to you? Does any of it apply to you? So these days, where can you actually phone and speak to somebody who knows what you want to do, and who'll be able to spend the time on the phone one-to-one, tell you exactly what you want to do without having to sit through an hour-long video that might be not relevant to you anyway? So that's the advantage of getting a product from a place like AC Hamilton. So if we isolate it in sections, so quickly, if we just look at the organ section, so it's actually really simple. Like a lot of things on Node, it looks a lot, but when you isolate it, it's really simple. So you just turn it on there. You've got your two parts to your organs here. You've got your type of organ. So we've got two pipe organ models, and your Hammond models, a Farfisa, a Vox. So you choose your type there. You've got your overdrive there. You just touch it. Even things that would normally be relatively complicated if you looked at it in a menu system are actually quite simple. So for example, if you wanted to get the slow and fast Leslie thing with aftertouch or with the wheel, you know, you just hold a button and touch it and it does what you tell it to do. I mean, even there's a new thing on here that this is angle, so you can actually change the way on a Leslie cabinet when the rotating speaker stops. It'll stop in a certain place in the Leslie cabinet, but it's actually really simple to do. You just press shift, touch the button, and you can change it. It's so a lot of these things, you're seeing a lot of buttons, a lot of words underneath the buttons, but it's actually to make it easier rather than harder, and we don't need to go into a menu system to alter it. So that's the organ section. So piano section, again, pretty simple. You turn it on, you've got your two different layers to piano, which you can turn on independently and independent volume. So your types of pianos, this is pretty much how Node has always been, and then you can flick through all your grand pianos, flick through all your upright pianos. That displays on the screen so you can see what's going on there. You've got some extra stuff on this particular model, like the unison. So if you want to beef it up a bit more, you've got your soft release and string resonance. So just, you know, nice subtle things that just make a difference on this model, and some extra touch sensitivity layers as well. Moving on to the synth section, there's a bit more going on with this, but it's still relatively simple. Obviously you've got your three layers here, so it's pretty powerful synth combinations here, and also all your arpeggiator stuff is here. So anybody into synths is going to understand all of these knobs and buttons. I mean, if you don't understand it, what's great about Node is, you know, you can just literally play something, turn a knob, and you can actually hear what it's doing. So from a really simple point of view, you know, we don't know what that's going to do, turn it, you'll hear it. So it's a great way to learn what, if you're not interested in learning what all this stuff does, you know, Node makes it easy for you to do that. So moving on to the effects section, pretty much what you see is what you get, but the main thing to remember, the powerful thing, is that any effects can be applied to each of the 7 parts. So it's not global, you can apply them individually to each section. So as we can see, even though it looks a lot, when you isolate it in different sections, it's pretty simple. Now, I'm going to come back to the middle part because there's some really great stuff in this section that makes life easy. So, and my favourite thing is the preset library. So we've now got preset libraries for organ, piano and synth. And so what that is basically sounds that have been worked on. So basically somebody's already done the work for it. You can find great settings that already have effects and things like that built into them. So rather than you having to build a sound from scratch, you can just whiz through the presets of the organ, piano and synth and find your favourite ones, which you can then use with any combination and in any of the 7 layers. You can also have a synth preset which does, use all 3 parts of the synth, or if you would just want the single layer, because you might be happy with the 2 parts you've already got and the 3rd part you don't like, so you can just do a single layer and choose one of your favorite pads or something to go into that 3rd synth section. So it's an incredibly useful feature, this preset library. So another cool thing is layer C. Now on the previous models you could see only 3 parts at one time. Now we can see 7 parts at one time, which is awesome. But you had this panel button, so that changed between seeing the 3 parts and another 3 parts. So this is what this layer scene is. So you basically get the best of both worlds, because you get to see all 7 parts now rather than 6, which you could only see 3 of. But it was handy that you could just press a button and get a complete change, and that's what the layer scene is. So you can see your 7 parts, press one button and be a completely different patch. And just while we're here in the middle, I mean, this is also a cool thing about Node, the fact that you can assign various different functions without going into a menu system. So for example, if you wanted the wheel to do a certain thing, it's just double tap, tell it what you want it to do, that's it, job done. Same thing with aftertouch, double tap it, tell it what you want it to do, and same thing with your control pedal. So the quick and easy things to assign jobs to do to certain functions on either your pedal, or by using aftertouch, bringing certain things with aftertouch, or bringing certain things in with the wheel. So as we've said, there's things that we've always loved about the Nord, the uniqueness of the sound and the ease of operation on the fly is still there. It's just taken, to another level really. Should also have not mentioned the action, and I think I know the action obviously is subjective. It's very difficult on a video to show you the action, but the feel for me is definitely a cut above other keyboard feels. And I think there is something a little bit more than just subjective about it. There is more control at different levels of velocity that is easier to get on here than maybe on some other products. So the feel is really great on the 73 and 88, more precise basically. If I can use this product, you definitely can. It is easy to use, even though it might seem over-facing, but this is the advantage of getting a product like this from here, where one of the few places where you can actually speak to a human being who not only knows what they're doing but will actually help you and spend the time with you. So that's the big advantage of getting a Node from AC Hamilton.